You from a secret location today. Actually, that's not true. We have some uh, construction happening around here, and I'm just hiding from the people and the noise. So hopefully, it won't be too distracting. Today, we are talking about how to sell your research idea. I have a lot of people who come to me saying, I need help selling my research idea. And so, what does that actually mean? That's what we're going to be talking about today, and also talking about why thinking about it in terms of selling might actually be sort of sabotaging your success. So, if you're new around here, I'm Sarah Dobson. I am a research grant consultant, and I help early career researchers get funded at NIH. So, how do you sell your research idea? First, I want to talk about why this might be sort of hampering your success. And I think a lot of this has to do with our feelings about what it means to sell something and how that can be sort of icky or manipulative, right? But what I want to encourage you to do, if that is how you feel about selling your research idea or selling your science, is that you don't have to think about it like that. What I do, or what we do when we work with PIs to try to get them funded, and which is essentially selling their research idea, right? Because these are multi-year, multi-million dollar grant applications. What we actually do is help them craft a narrative, tell a story about why their research matters and how it's going to advance the field, how it's going to improve human health, and essentially connecting the why the research needs to be done, how you're going to do it, and the impact of that research. And if you can connect all three of those things, you are selling your idea. And at its very root, what I think about when I think about crafting this narrative or selling your idea, it's really about getting your audience as excited as you are about the research. And that excitement comes through all those different pieces of the puzzle, those different parts of the story, right? Think about it. If all you did was say, here's my idea, here's how I'm going to do it, that is never going to be enough to get your project funded, even though that's kind of what you're taught as you're coming up in the ranks, right? You're taught that you just need to have a really good research idea and the rest will kind of take care of itself. We know that that's actually not true at all. And the reason that it's not true is because that research idea needs to be connected to something. It needs to be connected to a reason to do the research in the first place. And it also needs to be connected to the impact of the outcomes of the project, right? So you're doing the work and it's producing certain outcomes, but so what, right? What does it matter that you have produced these outcomes, or that you know something now that you didn't know before? Why? Who cares? So you need to make sure that the who cares part of it is really clear and really evident and really connected to the idea that you are proposing. The other really important thing that you need to make sure that you're doing is talking about how you arrived at this research question or this overarching hypothesis in the first place, right? How did you get here? You kind of want to show your thinking a little bit in terms of what it is that helped you develop this research question in the first place. What supporting evidence do you have, whether that's from the literature or your own preliminary data? But how did you get to where you are now, and how did you get to sort of crafting that question or that hypothesis? And then how are you going to test that hypothesis? How are you going to answer that research question? And what is the result of all of that, and the positive impact of all of that, right? And so if you can connect all three of those pieces, that is the narrative that you need, the story that you need to tell about your research. And any one of those on their own is not going to do it, right? We've already talked about just talking about the design, the approach on its own, that's not going to work. again, if you just talk about why the research needs to be done, the significance of the work, but you don't actually talk about what you're going to do or how you're going to do it, that's not going to get you anywhere either, right? And then finally, if all you're talking about is the expected outcomes and the potential benefit of the expected outcomes, but you haven't again talked about why the research matters in the first place, or more particularly how you're going to achieve those outcomes, that on its own is not going to work either. So all three of those pieces need to be connected for you to be able to craft that really strong narrative and sell your research idea. And again, in my view, selling your research idea is really about getting your reviewers as excited as you are about the research. All right. So that is it for today. We're keeping it short and sweet to avoid all the noise that's happening all around. And we'll see you next time.